to thank our pastors, Pastor Warren and Pastor Linda Trumbull,
Amen,
for entrusting me to preach on this morning.
Amen.
I take it not lightly. It's a high honor. Amen.
Amen.
And I want to just get out of the way and let Jesus do the talking this morning. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. So let's get straight into the word. As you can see, the topic we're going to be talking about is coming out of 1 John, there we go, 4, 1 through 4. So let's go there real quick.
Amen.
We'll be talking about examining and unleashing the greater one.
All right.
Examining and unleashing the greater one.
Amen.
Can somebody say the greater one?
The greater one.
Amen. We're going to find out who the greater one is and how do you tap into that greatness
Amen.
on this morning. 1 John. You can go ahead and turn the slide. There we go. I put certain words in red because I wanted to emphasize certain points.
Amen.
But it says here, beloved, believe not every spirit,
Yeah.
but try the spirits whether they are of God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Many false prophets are gone out into the world. How many of you know that's true?
Amen.
Amen.
All right. Hereby we know the Spirit of God. This is how you're going to know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesseth, opens up its mouth, confesseth that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh. Somebody say in the flesh.
In the flesh.
Is of God. And every spirit that confesseth not that Jesus is come in the flesh is not of God.
Yeah.
And this is that spirit of Antichrist, whereof you have heard that it should come, and even now already it is in the world. Okay? So the spirit of Antichrist is in the world. Y'all see that? The spirit of Antichrist is in the world. Now, that word Antichrist is a big word that means against Jesus.
Yeah.
So it's anything that's against Jesus. And a lot of times when you think of the word Antichrist, you think of this man that's going to come and take over the world and kill people if they don't take the mark. And that's true, right? But this right here is not talking about a man. This is talking about a spirit. And I want to go back up real quick. It says, every spirit that confesseth that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh is of God. So in other words, every spirit that confesses that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh, meaning that he is accessible to us.
That's it.
Y'all see that?
That's it.
Every spirit that says you have access to Jesus right here, right now, is of God. But every spirit that says you don't have access to Jesus is Antichrist. Y'all say it? You see that? So, in verse 4 it says, ye are of God little children and have overcome them. Why have you overcome them? Because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. You have overcome the lie that you can't get in touch with Jesus.
All right.
You have overcome the lie that he can't touch your situation.
Amen.
See, Antichrist will tell you he ain't studying you. He too busy. He forgot about you. See, the spirit of Antichrist is not just don't serve Jesus.
Come on now.
The spirit of Antichrist is also Jesus don't care about you.
Come
All
on.
right.
See, the spirit of Antichrist got different layers to it. It ain't just don't serve Jesus. It also wants you to feel like you have no chance to hear him out.
Come on now.
Or to have a relationship with him.
Yeah.
But the Apostle John, he said, look, you ain't even got to worry about what they say because he already in you.
Amen.
And he's greater than what they're saying.
All
That's
right.
it.
You see what I'm saying? Greater is he that is in you. Say he's in me.
in me.
Than he that is in the world.
That's it.
Now, go ahead and move on to the next slide.
Good. Good.
We're going to do two things. We're going to, hold on 1 second. We're going to examine the greater one, and we're going to talk about how to activate, how to participate in his greatness.
Yeah.
Now, before I do that, the word greater involves, I just want to pick one word out of it. It involves the word distance. Say distance.
Distance.
If I say I'm going from Winsboro to Shreveport, that's how much hours? What, 2 hours? 2.5 hours-ish? If I say I'm going from Winsboro to Monroe, that's what? 45 minutes, right? So Shreveport has greater distance than Monroe. Distance also means measurement.
Yeah.
Okay, follow me with me. So let's go to the next slide. All right, let's go to Psalms 139, 7 through 12. Let's go to Psalms 139, 7 through 12. Now, we're examining this greater one. Who is this greater one? We're going to talk about how big he is. The measurement of God. How big is he? So you got to get a fresh revelation of how big God is. Because the enemy wants you to see God as far away or see God as minute. Because doubt is nothing but downsizing God. That's all doubt is. It's downsizing him. It's making him minute when he's not. It's giving him a false measurement when he's bigger than what you can even dream of. See what I'm saying? So when you get in that word, you realize, wait, hold up. God is big. And look what the psalmist says. It says, whither shall I go from thy spirit?
Come on.
Thy spirit. Where am I going to go from your spirit? Whither shall I flee from thy presence? Where can I go from your presence? If I ascend into heaven, there you go, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there shall thy hand lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, even the night shall be as light about me. Yea, the darkness hideth not from thee, but the night shineth as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to thee. So David is saying here, I can't get away from you, God. You everywhere.
At the same time.
You everywhere. I go to hell, you there. You might be going through a hell-like experience, but he's there in the midst of it.
Amen.
He's everywhere. All right? So that means he's omnipresent.
Come on, say that word.
He's in your future even though you're in your present. And he's in your present even though you haven't gotten to your future yet. He's in both places at the same time. So if he's the God that knows the end from the beginning, why are you worrying about your conclusion?
Come on.
Why are you worried about how things going to turn out? He already in the end. He already know how this thing going to end up. Because he's that big. All right. I got in my notes, he is the highest capacity. Now listen to this. We're talking about greater. His greatness is in every season of your life.
Amen.
You may not think that's true, but his greatness is in every season of your life. The problem is we have to recognize it. We got to recognize his greatness. Because when those kids are giving problems, or your body may feel kind of out of place, you may not feel like he's being great right now. You may not feel like his greatness is there. But through faith, you'll be able to see, lo, I am with you, even to the end of the world. Through faith, you'll be able to see that all things work together for the good. Through faith, you'll be able to see, if I go through all this, and if I go through the valley of the shadow of death, I have no fear. Why? Because you are with me. The enemy wants you to become ignorant of his presence in your situation. If you become ignorant of God's presence, and you don't see God with you, he got you.
Amen.
He got you.
Amen.
See, don't take your focus off of him. Because when you take your focus off of God, you setting yourself up for defeat. You setting yourself up to be tricked, to be bamboozled. Okay. And this is what I got here. No one or nothing can put his greatness out or turn it off. None can put God's greatness out. They can make fun of you. They can say what they want about you. But they can't dethrone God.
Amen.
They can't take him down. And nothing, here's what the Lord gave me. He said, hell can't keep him out. And heaven can't keep it to himself.
All right.
So hell can't keep God out of it. And heaven can't say, oh, this is where God is. You know, some people like to make you feel like this, that the only place God is with them.
All right.
But I'm here to tell you, I'm here to surprise those religious people. God ain't just with you. He's with the people that are open, that are desperate, that say, God, come touch me. You remember that parable that Jesus gave about the big old priest? He talking about I fast twice a week and I do all this and I'm all that. And then that sinner, he came up and he said, Lord, I don't do none of that stuff. But Lord, just have mercy on me. Just, you see, God don't need to go through some examination of you to see if he'll come touch you. He don't need to take you through an interview to hire you.
All right.
See what I'm saying? People, they got to examine you. See, we get to discern people. I discern you if I need to be your friend or not. But God don't have to discern us.
All right.
He just come to us.
All right.
He's not afraid of your mess. He already saw your mess before you did your mess.
All right.
Nothing can keep his greatness out. Not even your own struggle.
All right. Amen.
That's right.
Can't keep it out.
Amen.
Can't keep it out. It can't stop it. Let's go to okay, next slide. Let's go to Isaiah 40 and 13. It says, who hath directed the Spirit of the Lord? Or being his counselor hath taught him? Now, I looked this word up in the Hebrew, and it's the word tekin. It means to balance, measure out, arrange, equalize, or level. So basically, those are a lot of words, but the word I want to look at real quick is measure. Who can measure God?
All right.
If he's everywhere at the same time, how many inches is God? How tall is God? How wide is God? You can't. So the only word you can use to measure God is all.
All.
That's the only word you can use. Because he's all. He's entire. He's big. He's eternal. There's nothing that can stop him from being in a certain place.
Yes.
Now, here's what I wrote in my notes here. Whatever measures you is what you are accountable to. If I can measure something, that means I got control over it.
That's right.
And here's what we try to do. We try to control God by trying to measure him. Well, God, you can save, but you can't baptize in the Holy Ghost. So I'm gonna put a little measurement right here. I'm gonna put that right here. You can deliver my daddy, but you can't deliver my mama that's doing all this stuff. No. I'm gonna put some measurement here. God is saying, stop trying to box him in. Because when you're trying to box him in, you're really creating an idol. That's not even God. All things are possible to those that what? Believe. All things are possible to those that believe. In John 1:3 it says, all things were made by him. And without him was not anything made that was made. Somebody say all.
All.
Matthew 19:26. But Jesus beheld them and said unto them, with men this is impossible. With God all things are possible. His measurement is all. It's all. He made all things. He can do all things. The Bible says, I am that I am. He is all things.
Yeah.
I mean, he's all.
It's all.
So whatever, yes, Lord, I hear that. Whatever is you're going through, God said to tell you, it's included in him.
Yeah.
Whatever you're dealing with, that includes him.
Yes.
No situation can, like I said earlier, put him out. Romans 8:28, and we know that what? All things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. All things. And you know what? When I was reading Romans 8:28, the context talks about, yes, the Holy Spirit praying through us, but the Lord kind of put something in my spirit. He said, I even allow your problems to work for me. God hires your problems.
Come on now.
All right, got that.
Come on now.
He employs your situation. You think that stuff came on you by accident? No. It had to have an interview with God.
All right.
Remember Job?
Yeah.
Satan had to go to the boss and say, can I touch Job?
Yeah.
Can I touch him, Jesus? Can I touch him, God? God said, yeah, go ahead, touch him. He ain't gonna mess up, but you can touch him. Don't kill him now. But after it's all said and done, he gonna still serve me. Let me tell you something. If God is so powerful that he had to approve your trial before it hits you, why are you worried about getting out of it? If he had to approve certain things being put in your life,
Come on now.
do you not think he's smart enough to know if I'm going to allow this to happen to you, it is for your good?
Yeah.
I'm not going to let it kill you. I'm not going to let it pull you down. The devil don't have power. The devil got to go through God
All right.
for everything. That co-worker that's getting on your nerves, that had to be approved by headquarters.
Look at that.
Why? Because God said, I'm going to allow this co-worker to get on her nerves because I want to produce patience out of her. I want to see how her love walk is.
Oh, Jesus. All right.
Will she stick through it enough so that when that person finally sees that they can't get to him, she might get saved?
Amen.
Nothing happens by accident.
Yes, Lord.
He's in control of all things.
All
Say all things.
All things.
So y'all see how big God is? He's big. He's huge. I'm going to say this. No one can make adjustments to something they didn't make.
Glory to God.
So if you didn't make God, can you try to change him?
All right.
Accept God as who he is. He's big. He's huge. Now, give me 1 second. Here's something else I want to say. This is something the Lord gave me too. The measurement of something determines its manifestation. Okay, let me break that down. Pastor Warren, you mind standing up real quick? You mind telling us how tall you are? 6'1". His height is 6'1". That means he can only manifest what? 6'1". Y'all see that? He can only be 6'1".
Yeah.
Because that's the highest he can go. His measurement determines how much of Pastor Warren you see. All right, thank you, Pastor. Now, if you can't measure God, how much of God can you see? That means he's everywhere. If you can't measure, if his measurement is everything, everywhere, all things, that means you see him everywhere.
Everywhere.
So I'm here to challenge somebody that's going through something.
Yeah.
See him in your situation.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you something. The test of your trials is not about getting a miracle. It's about can you see him.
Glory.
He's waiting on you to see him.
Glory.
He's not just going to give you candy and give you miracles just because. No. He's saying, do you get this new revelation of me? You saw me like this last season,
Hold
but
on,
do you
wait,
see
wait,
me in a new,
come
in a new
on.
outfit, a new form?
You
Do see
helping me. Come on.
And many of us, we've been struggling. Lord, get me out of the situation. Lord, get me out. The Lord's saying, I'm only going to get you out if you can see me in it. I'm only going to get you out if you can see me in it. We sit up here complaining, Lord, where are you? He said, I'm right here. But you in your flesh, you can't see me. Remember Elijah. Elijah, he was praying. The Bible said the wind blew, God wasn't in it. Said the fire came, God wasn't in it. Said something else happened, God wasn't in it. Then the still small voice came. Oh, there you go, God. God is saying, if you have to recognize me, that's the only way you'll be able to come out of this thing. Because see, yes, Lord. Because see, he doesn't just want you to come out with a new miracle. He wants you to come out with a new revelation.
Glory. Yeah. Get up, boy.
He wants you to be able to come out and tell somebody something new about him. Guess what I learned about God in my last situation? You want to hear the new lesson I learned? I learned he's a healer.
All right.
I learned he's a way maker. I learned that he can take my broken life and make it whole again.
Oh,
And
glory.
see, these are lessons that we can repeat, but only God can teach.
Glory. Glory.
Oh my God.
These are lessons I can tell you God is a way maker. I can tell you he's a healer, but unless you go through that situation and get it for yourself.
Glory. Glory.
That's
You
good.
wonder why trials happen? Because he's taking you to school.
Yes.
He's trying to educate you. He's trying to grow you up
Yes.
to see the fullness of his greatness.
Yes.
Moses said, show me your glory.
Glory.
You the one said yes to God.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes.
You went to that altar and said, Lord, I give you my life. God, he said, okay, I got some classes for you to take. Oh, you want to see me? I got some classes for you to take. I got some curriculum. I got some textbooks. Oh, yes, there's going to be some tests too. You got to study well. Study to show yourself approved because there's going to be some tests.
Come on. Come on.
And
Preparation
I
time.
heard the Lord just say this. And the more anointed you are, the more tests you got to take. You wondering why you got to take all these tests? It's because your anointing is too powerful. And God ain't going to let you look dumb. When you come out of this, you're going to have to say something to somebody to pull them out of their pit, to pull them out of their situation.
That's it.
Oh, you talking now? You
Say, I'm
talking
going to
now?
school.
Okay.
Yeah, you're going to school.
I'm in school.
Don't get mad at the classwork. You're going to school. taking you through school.
Yes.
He growing you.
Yes.
He educating you. He building you up.
Yes.
You're the one that said, Lord, I want more of you. He said, okay,
Yes.
I'm going to give you some more.
Yes.
I'm going to give you some more.
Yes.
Hallelujah. All right. Yeah, that's the next one. Thank you. Matthew 14:25-32.
Oh my God.
Hallelujah.
Jesus.
Thank you, Holy Spirit.
Yes.
Thank you,
Lord.
Holy Spirit.
Yes, Lord.
That was good.
Yes, Lord.
And in the fourth watch of the night, I highlighted this because it's King James, but the fourth watch of the night is basically like real early in the morning. Now, I didn't read the previous verses, but in the previous verses, just to kind of give you a little background, Jesus, he had just got through feeding the thousands of people. He stayed back. He said, I want y'all to go. Get on the boat and go ahead and go. Yeah, confirmation. Get on the boat and go ahead and go. And now when Jesus let them go, it probably was like evening time, right? So they were on the boat in the storm, because the storm came from evening time till early morning.
Come on with it.
And in the fourth watch of the night, so they were tired. Thomas, get some of that water. Throw it out. Throw the food out. Hold the sail. They sitting up there working that whole time. Some of y'all been in situations where you just been working. Just working. Jesus went to them walking on the sea. Now God is coming to them. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, it is a spirit. And they cried out for fear. In other words, they didn't recognize God in a new form.
Come on, you finna talk about it. Yes.
Sometimes God could be showing up to you and you think it's the devil.
Come on.
That's right.
Because it's so different. It's so radical. I don't ever have faith to believe that this is God. You mean to tell me I can get my own house? No, that ain't God. No, he said, yeah, this is me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know your credit bad, but you can get a new car too.
And
This
don't
is
even
me.
recognize it. Don't even recognize
This
it.
is me. So now Jesus, he's walking and they say there's a spirit. Oh, I don't know.
Good.
But straightway Jesus spake unto them, saying, be of good cheer, it is I. Be not afraid. So now he's revealing himself. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water.
Come on with it.
Peter was bold.
That's bold, that's a free.
Peter was bold. He said, Lord, if it's you, all right. Now follow me with this. Before this happened, Jesus was feeding the multitude, right? He was doing all kind of great things. So Peter knew, okay, if it's the Jesus I know, then he gonna do great things with me too. This, I mean, if you get what I'm saying? If he's so powerful, I saw him feed the multitudes. I saw him heal the lepers and the blind and the dead and the lame, and I saw him do all that. So if I know my Jesus to be who he is, then the best way for me to verify that this is God is I gotta do something impossible.
You gotta try him. Come on.
Some of you trying to walk out. Lord help me. Some of you are trying to walk out your new season with comfort. You're trying to walk in this new place that God is trying to take you to, and you're trying to put plans together, you're trying to be cautious. God's saying, if you want to really see who I am in this season, you got to take a risk. We walk by faith, not by sight. The steps of a righteous man are ordered by the Lord. So Peter said, if it's you, well, the Jesus I know, he's impossible. He do impossible things. So I'm going to give you an impossible thing. If it's you, I should be able to walk with you. And he said, come. See, that's a word for somebody. God is inviting you to the impossible things. He said, yeah. Challenge me. Come on. Oh, you want that business? Come. You want that ministry? Come. And when Peter was come out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. He walked on the water to go to Jesus. Now, I want to say something here. Go back up here. When Peter said, bid me come, he was saying, I'll know it's you by my connection to you in this situation.
Come on now.
In other words, he said, let me get close to you.
Come on.
Where you at? I gotta check you out.
Yeah.
I got to smell. I got to see if this is really you. The way I know that it is the greatness of God is that it's going to be something past normal. Say past normal.
Past normal.
God don't do nothing normal. Everything God do is past normal. Some of you, God is speaking to you stuff, you're like, oh my God, is this the Lord? This is out of the
Come on now.
business. You know, is this God? God is saying, my only language is abnormal. I'm only talking to you in impossibilities because if you did it in your strength, you don't need me.
Come on.
Not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord.
It's all right. It's all right.
Now, you can only identify God past normal. If it's normal, it ain't God. If it's normal, it's probably not the Lord.
Come on now.
You're too comfortable.
You comfortable. Right. Now, Satan lives in normal. God lives in abnormal.
Come on, praise God.
So Satan will tell you, you don't need to give them tithes and offering. You got bills to pay.
Come on now.
Be a smart financial person. What you doing giving that money? God say, try me. Go past normal. The Lord say save, I say give. Give and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, running over.
Come on now.
Shall men give into your bosom.
Come on, preach it now.
Normal in the world says, hate that person that hates you. That's normal. That's the in thing. Oh, you get me, I'm going to get you. God said, no, I want you to be different. Be abnormal. Love them.
Yes.
Give them lunch. Give them compliments. Do y'all see? See, God is calling us to the abnormal life. Because that's where he is. And you're trying to get miracles. You're trying to get miracles acting normal. It's not going to happen. That's why you got to get out your flesh. Because God lives in the spirit where everything is unusual. He said we are a holy people, a peculiar nation. We are a royal nation. We don't fit in.
That's right.
I'm not looking to be the cool kid. I'm past that phase. I want to be as weird as I can be in here. Remember David? David walking around, he said, I know I'm a king, but I'm taking my clothes off today. I'm going to be more dignified than this because he understood the more weirder I get, the more closer he comes. The more radical I get, the more he touches me, the more he opens up doors for me. God wants to see you in a desperate place. Stop sitting there being comfortable. You're holding your own self back. And he said, come. And when Peter was come out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. Now, this is something to me. Go to Genesis 1.
Go ahead on then.
Let's look at verse 1 and 2. It's not up there, but yeah. I didn't put it in there. It says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void. And darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the what? Face of the waters. So, can I say something to you? This was not Jesus walking on water. The Spirit that was in him, this was not the first time the Spirit walked on water or was around water. So can I tell you something? God will never take you somewhere that he has not been before.
All right.
He will never take you somewhere that he ain't already been there.
Come on now.
That he already done checked it out. That he already done made. He got this set up for your favor.
Amen.
All you got to do is just trust him.
Yes.
Now, Peter, you go back, yeah. It says, but when he saw the wind, boisterous, he was afraid. And beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Lord, save me.
Amen.
Now, let's kind of use this as a metaphor. I know this was a literal event, but I want to use this as a metaphor real quick. The wind was boisterous, right? That means it was just everywhere. That can really represent a storm we're going through in life. When you think about it, that can represent a trial or a tribulation.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting that Satan only uses what God has made and try to pervert it to torment you?
Yeah.
Satan can't even come up with his own products. He got to use the wind that God made to try to make you uncomfortable. So if Satan got to borrow God's goods to try to make your life miserable, what you worried about?
That's it. All right. Oh, that's it. That's it.
What you worried about?
That's it.
And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand. He was trying because he lost his focus. Say, don't lose your focus.
Your focus.
And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? That leads me to my next point. The only way you're going to be able to walk in this greatness is by faith. It's by faith. It's by faith. It can only be activated through faith. It can only be sustained through focus, that was supposed to be and consistent faith.
Yeah.
The greatness of God released by faith must be fed with consistent faith, born out of the word to remain active.
Yeah.
Mark 9:23, I'm going to really break this down. Jesus said unto him, if thou canst believe.
Yeah.
See, when you get saved, you get the activated faith. But now you have a response. Say, I'm responsible to keep my faith employed. You're responsible to keep your faith working.
Yeah.
All things, say greater.
Greater.
So when you believe, you all of a sudden, when you believe and you say, Jesus, come to my heart, you all of a sudden access that greater.
Yeah.
But now you got to keep it up.
Yeah.
You got to keep it up.
Yeah.
Jesus said unto him, if thou canst believe, activated faith, all things greater are possible to him that believeth. Continual.
Yeah.
Some of us, we're trying to live off of a past faith. Well, I accepted Jesus Christ 20 years ago, and stuff just stopped working. Because you stopped working the thing that made the stuff work in the first place. Work your faith and you will be blessed. Fire your faith and you will be cursed.
Yeah.
All right.
Keep your faith working. Keep your faith working. Keep it working. That same faith that it took for you to get saved, you got to keep nourishing that thing and building that thing. Why? Because now you're on a journey. You're saved by faith, but guess what? You're walking by faith too.
Yeah.
So you got to have enough faith not only to be changed, but to start moving.
Come on.
Then enough faith to start running.
Yeah.
Then enough faith to start leaping.
Yeah.
Then enough faith to start soaring.
Yeah.
See, there's different levels to this thing. From faith to faith, from glory to glory. God wants you to soar. God wants you to move past your level. But it's only going to happen if you put some fuel in your tank.
Yeah.
If you drive a car and you put fuel one time, you're going to have a one-time good experience.
Hey.
But if you stop putting fuel, that car ain't going nowhere. And most of us in the spirit, we all Lord, I thank you for that. Our only memory of God is a historical thrill.
Come on.
It's a good moment. In 1956, I got baptized in the Holy Ghost.
Talk about it.
It was great.
Talk
Ooh,
about it.
I wish we
Come
could go
on.
back to them days. Yes, you can. The Bible says now faith is.
All right.
So the same faith it took for you to get that back then.
Hey.
Do you not know it can be greater right now?
Hey.
That's right.
But you got to feed it how? The word.
The word.
Faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the
word of God.
Word yourself into your future. Word yourself into your promise. Word yourself into your miracle. You wonder why the devil keeps fighting you when you read your word? Because your word creates things. That word creates things. The devil knows, okay. If they get that word, they can get a prophecy, but if they don't got no word, it ain't gonna come to pass.
All right.
Somebody can lay hands on them, but if they don't get that word, it ain't gonna come to pass. But when they start dealing with stuff that creates stuff, when they start dealing with stuff that creates stuff, now I'm in trouble. So I gotta attack them. Because now they're dealing with stuff that can create. Let me tell you something. What is Hebrews 1?
Oh, that's it. That's
Come on now.
I'm almost done.
Come on now. Have your way, Holy Ghost.
Hebrews 1.
Yeah.
Where is it? Give me a second. Verse 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
God, who at sundry times and in diverse manners and different ways spake in times past unto the fathers by the prophets. Okay? Verse 2. Hath in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, word, whom he hath appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the worlds, who being the brightness of his glory and the express image of his person, and upholding, get this, all things by the what? Word of his power. So the word holds everything together.
Amen.
So if the word, let me say something to you. The reason why you can't be held together in your situation is because you don't have the things that will, the word that will hold you together.
Come on now.
You keep breaking down because you don't have the resources that can keep you up. But when you get that word in you, you may want to get mad, but some just say, it holds you. It holds you. It holds you. You know, you want to do things wrong, but that word say, put a watch over your mouth. You can't say what you want to say. Speak life. See what I'm saying? Let the word live holiness through you. You try to do it in yourself. You can't do it in your flesh. You got to get in the spirit. My words are spirit and they are life. You ain't start living until you read this word.
That's right.
Because it's your oxygen.
Woo!
The word is the oxygen of heaven. You just start reading that word. Woo. You ever read the word? You ever read the Bible? You came to church? And even right now it's happening as the word is being preached. Life is coming into you. Why? Because now you're starting to live. Not by your flesh, by the Spirit of God. Now imagine if you do this all the time. Not just when Pastor Warren and Linda preach, or Pastor Ricky or I preach, or whoever preaches, but when you preach to your own self.
Glory.
Say, I am a preacher. Yeah, you're a preacher. Preach your own sermons. Because when you preach your own sermons, when you come in here, it's not going to be revelation, it's going to be confirmation. Revelation is learning, confirmation is birthing. When something gets confirmed in your spirit, that baby kick. Something becomes alive. But when something is revealed to you, you got to chew on that thing, and you got to process that thing. Save yourself some time. Get in the word every day. So that when you get to church, you can start growing. See what I'm saying? You can start leaping. You don't even know what's happening to you. You become changed and transformed. Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Let your mind live. Let your mind put on some new clothes.
That's it.
Derobe the old man. Put on the new mind. The mind of what? Of Christ. You know, it's amazing. We don't even have to think for ourselves.
Come on now.
How easy is that?
Hey.
Jesus said, you know what? Not only am I going to live the word through you, I'm going to think for you. How easy we got it.
Come on now.
All you got to do is just sit there and let the word go through you.
Come on now.
And he do everything else. You ain't even got to think for yourself. So why are you trying to come up with plan A, and plan B, and plan C, and plan D? Let the word think for you. We got it so good, y'all. We got it so good. You ain't have to, I just hit my spirit. You don't even have to think for yourself. You know, back in the world, we used to watch people and say, I don't know if they're good for me. I don't know. No. When you get that word in you, before that person even come, you know. He'll tell you. The Bible said the Holy Ghost will lead you into what? All truth. You even have to figure out if it's a lie or not. He'll tell you before you even come.
Yes, it will.
It's so easy. He literally, if you think about it, he baby feeding us.
Amen.
He just saying all you got to do is receive.
Amen.
Believe and what? Receive. And that's how you participate in his greatness. Now, when you're in his greatness, you're not God.
Come on now.
You are great in him.
Yeah.
Your greatness is never separate from him.
Come on now.
Remember that, because sometimes people, I'm great. But if you're not careful, your greatness, the enemy will try to pervert your greatness and put a spirit of pride in you. And try to make you feel like you're something that you ain't. So you have to have balance. I was telling a friend, I said, everything in this Bible is balanced. So yes, we're great. And we're awesome. But guess what? John said, I must decrease. So he must what? Increase. So before that greatness comes, you got to get out the way. You got to get out the way. Because if you are in the way with the greatness, or what you think is the greatness, then you move in pride. And you think you're something that you're not. And then God got to humble you down and got to take you through tests. I got to drag you around the mountain over and over. So just say, Lord, Not me, but Christ that lives what? In me. You take over my life. I don't even want this. I can't fix these situations. You take over.
Come on now.
I'm going to go ahead and put myself in a coffin. You resurrect and you do what you got to do. I kill flesh so the Spirit of God can live.
Yeah.
Lord.
Yes, that's the word. Oh, Lord. Have your way.
So, you got to get out of your measurement to get into God's measurement.
Yeah.
You got to get out of your way to get in His way.
Yeah.
You got to get out of trying to figure it out on your own. The Lord is saying, man, stop putting all that pressure on yourself. You know what? The flesh comes pressure. You're always scared. I don't know how the bill's going to get paid. I don't know if she like me. Just lay aside every weight and the sin that so easily what? Just get rid of that stuff. Because the Bible says, looking unto Jesus, who's the author and the finisher of your faith. He's already wrote your story. All you got to do is look and follow. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. So, Peter shows us that through faith on the greater one, we can walk out what our problems is made of. We walk by faith and not by sight. You can either conquer or be consumed.
One or two.
It's really that simple. You can either walk in that dominion and that victory, or let that stuff take you all over and just pull you down and pull you under. Now I want to say something else. Jesus, He teaches us how to be great too. Go back to Matthew 14. Matthew 14. Amen. God. Where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? Verse 23. It's not on there. Here's another key to being great. And when He sent the multitudes away, He went up into a mountain apart to pray. Say pray.
Pray.
And when the even was come, He was there alone. Say alone. Alone. Now Jesus had to pray. Now remember, Jesus, even though He was the Son of God, He was also man. Right? So He showed us how we can live. In order to be great, you got to get away from some people sometimes.
Say that again.
You got to change your company. You got to shut down Facebook. I'm here to tell you that was a problem for me.
Come on.
Shutting down Facebook sometimes. You got to shut it down. You got to shut down them YouTube videos like Pastor was preaching last week. Because you can't walk in someone else's greatness. You got to walk in your own greatness. God hasn't made you a copycat. He made you an original. You sit up there stealing borrowed goods just like the devil. Stop stealing borrowed goods. Walk in the goods that God has given you. He has given us what? A measure of what? Faith.
Good. Good.
You can celebrate other people's good. I celebrate Pastor Ricky's good. I celebrate the pastor's goods. But you got to maintain your own goods. You got to maintain your own goods. Because guess what? He coming and He getting ready to judge. Okay, did you take care of what I told you to do? Or are you worried about Bill Winston's anointing?
Come on, teacher.
Bill Winston doing what he got to do.
All right,
but are you doing what you're supposed to do?
Amen.
And see, when you're doing what you're supposed to do, and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, we can all be great. And nobody got to hate nobody. And nobody got to be jealous and say, well, who she thinks she is. She just walking in her greatness. And the same God that can give her greatness is the same God that has already given you greatness. And all you got to do is tap in. All you got to do is tap in. I celebrate everybody's anointing, but I'm responsible for mine. You have a responsibility. Oh, well, I'm not a preacher. That don't mean you got a job. You ain't got a job to do.
That's right.
He's going to be looking at you and say, where your fruit at? Where love at? Where peace at? Where joy at? Where evangelism at? Where the prophetic at? Where the business at that I told you to do? Where is it?
That's right.
Because I put something in you and I'm expecting a return. See, God, He's a good businessman. He's a good investor. He don't want you to just come back with the same thing He gave you. Multiply that thing. Increase that thing. You know how much work there is for us to do out here? And we're worried about positions and titles. We're worried about who's going to do this and who's going to do that. It's so much work. It's so much work. You're worried about positions and titles and all this stuff. There's enough greatness for everyone. Trust me, there's enough for everyone and more. He's still looking looking for people. That's why he said, "What? No. I like what's in my church, but I need some more bodies. I need some more people. I need some more souls. I like what's going on in Liberty, but I need some more people. I need some more preachers. I need some more evangelists. I need some more prophets. I need some more apostles because this is good, but I want to do more because I got so much in me that I want to give to this world." God is never satisfied. He always wants more. Exceedingly, abundantly, above what we can ask for a thing. That's why some of you can't be satisfied. You try to do stuff, you like, I don't know. There's more to this thing. That's that greatness saying. There's more to it than this. There's more to you than just living in that house, waiting from that person. There's more. Shout, there's more.
There's more.
Yeah, and your situation doesn't exclude you from the more.
Come on
I don't
now.
care what you did in your past.
Come on now.
The moment you confessed and believed that Jesus Christ is Lord and he rose again from the dead, it was over. You qualified. Jump in with the rest of us. I don't care if they've been saved 30 years. If you say 5 minutes and they say 30 years, ain't no difference. The same word that saved me saves you. You ain't gotta, I gotta go through a process. Yes, we do have to go through a process, but you don't have to wait on process to start doing something. You can start somewhere, doing something. If it's just posting scriptures on Facebook, something. You gotta start doing something. You're waiting on people, and I don't know why I hear the Lord saying this, but some of you, you're waiting on people to support you with your vision. And you undergird you. God saying, you be the starter. You pioneer that thing. It don't matter what they saying about you. You start that business. You open up that department in the ministry. You do this. You do that. Stop waiting. Let your greatness start somewhere. And what better place to do it than in here? Because I'm going to tell you something. So the greatest people that God used, they started off with no support. And when they started, the people that were talking about it, they say, you know what? Brother so-and-so, he was talking crazy at first, but okay, I see it. I'm going to jump on in there. Don't wait for the bandwagon people.
Come on,
Don't wait for them, because you'll never do what you're supposed to do. Wait on people. Just jump in. Just jump in. Just jump in. And I'm going to say this last thing.
No, you keep that. You keep that.
His greatness comes, with his greatness comes grace insurance. Say grace insurance.
Grace insurance.
For your mistakes. Yeah, you're going to make mistakes. But even in the greatness that you're walking in, when you slip, that grace will catch you. And you say, come on, keep going. Keep going. See, what the enemy tried to do, he tried to make you stay in condemnation. Well, I started off good. I was going to church. I was reading the Bible. Then I went back out there and did what I wasn't supposed to do. I'm just going to stop. No, you come boldly to the throne of grace in the time of need. And you get what you need. You pick up yourself and you keep on going. Because all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Your struggle ain't nothing new. We all dealing with something. And if I was to wait to be perfect, I wouldn't be preaching right now.
That's right.
If they want to wait to be perfect, they wouldn't be pastoring right now.
Come on with it.
So don't let people put a false standard on you. Because they can't even keep the standard themselves. They can't even keep it. They talk about do this and do that. And in the back, they doing all kind of stuff. And they worse than you. They're worse than you. I'm sorry, I had to kill that religious spirit. They're worse than you. Nobody is better than nobody. We all the same. We all are God's children. Walk that process out.
That's good.
Worried about what people say. They doing stuff. I used to worry what people say. And then things started getting exposed. And I'm like, wait, her? Now I wasn't judging, but it was like, wow, you were the same one telling me not to do this and that, but you're doing this. I guess you're not as high and mighty like you thought you were. I guess you're in the struggle like I am in the struggle. I guess we really in this thing together. They try to make a throne for themselves. The only throne is the throne of God. Ain't no other thrones. So all you gotta do is say, okay, I see you trying to pretend, but you know what? You're in the same boat as I am. And you know what? I'm not even gonna get mad at you. You still gotta figure out yourself. But I'm gonna love you, I'm gonna pray for you, but I'm gonna keep walking this thing out. Day by day, moment by moment, until I get to where I need to be. So I don't know, I just felt like somebody need to be free of that. Stop worrying. I'm not perfect. I'm not the best thing in the world. None of us are. But in our spirit, we're perfect. In our flesh, we have to battle back and forth. Put that thing down. Put that thing down. Put that thing down. But you are the righteousness of God through Christ Jesus. So you walk in that. Even though you may not see it all the time, Even though that temper may flare, Lord, I'm sorry. I'm still the righteousness of God in Christ Jesus. I may be messing up at work, but guess what? You know what? I'm still the righteousness of God in Christ Jesus. And don't wait. Yes, Lord. Don't wait on your feelings to confirm it.
Oh, man.
Because you ain't going to feel righteous all the time. You're going to feel lower and lower. But can I tell you something? The greatest times God has used me when I felt like I was nothing. Because what? That righteousness was showing me, no, you are something.
Yes. Come on.
In me. In God. Not in yourself, but in God.
Yes.
Sometimes God allows us to fall and go through. Why? Because he want to show you it ain't you anyways. It's me. It's me. And be comfortable with your process. Don't rush it. Don't rush it. Be comfortable with it. And let him work on you. Because we're going to continually be going through this process until we're delivered from this body. We're going to continually have to go through this. Now, of course, that's not no excuse to just go out there and, sin. No. But what I am saying is if you do sin by mistake, by mistake, you put that out there. If you do sin by mistake, because that's the only time righteous people do sin is by mistake. Not planning something and then, Lord forgive me before you do it, and then you do it. No. If you're doing that, then you still got to grow. And that's okay. That's where you are. But God wants us to understand there's a place where you can get to where you even have to sin, really. Because you're walking in that holiness of God. See, he is coming out to the surface now, and you're going back. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. He's living through you.
That's right. That's good.
Amen.
So, that's really all I had.
Amen.
So I don't know, when I was preparing this word, it was a great struggle because sometimes when God give you a word, he give you so much. Y'all know who preach. He give you so much. You're like, Lord, how am I gonna share this? And I don't know what part, applied to whoever in here, but there may be some people in here that you have forgotten how big God is. You've allowed your situation to become bigger to you than the God who is in control of everything. And you may just need to, offer a fresh commitment and just get a fresh acceptance of the bigness of God in your life. You may need to, that situation that see, what I believe what God wants to do, he wants to just put things back in the right size in your spirit. He wants you to just, sickness? Oh no, you ain't this big. You really this big.
It's gone.
Compared to how great my God is. And so you may be going through, I don't know, God only knows what it is that you are going through. But whatever it is, I challenge you to receive the revelation of who he is. And just compare.
Amen.
See which one is bigger.
Amen.
Test it out. See which one is bigger.
Amen.
And if you really look at it for what it is, you'll realize that God is everything. And all that stress you're dealing with, all that, those doubts and those questions and all that stuff, it'll leave.
Amen.
And that's where faith is born. Somebody in here, you may be dealing with a situation, you may be dealing with a problem where your faith is challenged. In life we go through stuff, and in the natural, we tend to look at the problem more than we look at God. But this morning, as we open the altar, I want you to those of you that feel led to come, that just need a focus shift. You just need to change your perspective. And I can preach about it and we can talk about it, but it's nothing like when you get in his presence and talk to him and say, God, let me see you for who you truly are.